Hello and a very warm welcome to latest case analysis series by Law Seco. For today's discussion, we have taken up a decision by the High Court of Allahabad, which is dated 23rd of November 2020. The name of the case is Kamini Devi and another versus the state of UP and four others. It is a decision by a division bench of the High Court, and the bench consisted of Honorable Justice Anjani Kumar Mishra and Honorable Justice Prakash Padia. Now let's proceed and understand the issue of law. So the court was to decide whether an interference in the peaceful living of a live-in relationship couple, so whether such an interference will it amount to be an infringement of their right to life and personal liberty, which is a guaranteed fundamental right under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Now, during the course of this case analysis, I'll be touching upon briefly the legalities surrounding live in relationships or governing live in relationships in India. So, first things first, let's have an understanding of the brief facts of the matter. So, petitioner number one and petitioner number two, they both fell in love with each other and they started living together peacefully, and these two were consenting adults. So, they gave consent to such a living arrangement, and this sort of a living arrangement wherein these two persons they were living together as a couple before marriage. This is called live-in relationship. However, the parents of petitioner number one, which is respondent number four and five, they did not approve of this relationship and they rather wanted their daughter to solemnize her marriage with someone else. Now, clearly, the daughter, petitioner number one, she did not comply with their demand, and thereafter, because she did not comply with the demand, they leveled harassment or they harassed these two petitioners. Now, right after 6 months of their marriage, when since the harassment was constant, the petitioners they approached the police for seeking protection. However, there was no action which was taken by the police, and therefore the petitioners they were forced to knock the doors of the High Court of Allahabad. And the petitioners they approached the High Court with a writ of mandamus, praying for a command to the respondent authorities to not further harass these two consenting adults who were living together peacefully and voluntarily. Now, before we discuss the reasoning and decision of the court, I'd like to briefly touch upon the legality governing live in relationships. So, there is a series of decisions of the apex court and also various high courts, which have time and again stated that when two consenting adults they want to live together in an arrangement, then nobody can interfere with that. And they have ascertained the legality of live in relationships time and again. So I'll be dealing with two cases briefly. The first being the case of S. Khushbu, wherein the Supreme Court had held that live-in relationship it is covered within the wider ambit or the larger ambit of Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, and it is not an offense if two consenting adults they are desiring or they're willing to live together, then nobody can interfere with the same. And the second case being the case of Indira Sharma versus VKV Sharma. It is a decision of the Honorable Apex Court in the year 2013, wherein the Supreme Court in detail discussed the entire issue or the topic of live in relationship and the legality thereof. And the court, while doing so, discuss in detail the law governing this particular matter in different countries. There was a discussion of the law governing live-in relationships in US, Australia, South Africa, among other countries. And the court stated that such a live-in arrangement, this is a de facto marriage or a civil marriage. And there were certain guidelines which were laid down by the court which would help us in identifying whether a particular living arrangement would qualify to be a live-in relationship or not. And therefore, can the remedies which can be sought by a partner under the Domestic Violence Act or that of the maintenance provisions which can be invoked under the Code of Criminal Procedure. So, these remedies which the partner of such a live in relationship can take recourse to when aggrieved by the other partner. So, when can such remedies be available? So, this can be available obviously when it can be established that the arrangement is indeed of a live in relationship and there were certain guidelines which were laid down. So, the first being that the the duration of the period of relationship. So, the court clearly distinguished a live in relationship from a one night stand, and stating that the partners to such a relationship, they should be living together for a considerable period of time or a reasonable period of time, and they should be holding out to the public that they indeed are living together as a couple. And the court stated that section 2F of the Domestic Violence Act, it has used the expression at any point of time the couple should have lived together, and the term at any point of time, it would represent a reasonable amount of time, and this reasonable amount of time, it would vary the from case to case depending on the facts and circumstances of each case. Now the second criteria and factor being shared household. So both of these partners, they should be living together in a shared household, and what amounts to be a shared household, that is again defined under the Domestic Violence Act section 2S. So recourse to this provision can be taken in order to understand what amounts to be shared household. Now, the third being pooling of resources and financial arrangements. So, like in a marriage, the couple, they pool in resources for each other, and they also have certain financial arrangements, like they take property in each other's name. So, they have certain deposits in their name. So, these are certain financial and other arrangements or resource pooling which a couple does in when they are together by virtue of a marriage. So if the couple is also reciprocating the same in their live-in relationship, so that is also a strong indication that this is not like a mere one night stand, or rather it is an arrangement which is in the nature of marriage. And the fourth guideline being that they should be together in a domestic arrangement. So domestic arrangement is their entrusting responsibilities of each other and how their lives would go about as a couple. And the fifth being that there is a sexual relationship or cohabitation between the couple. And the sixth, or which can be an aiding factor, is if they have children born out of this arrangement. And they're also seventh being that they're holding together out to the public that they're living together as a couple. And also, there are decisions of the Honorable Apex Court itself, which has ascertained the legitimacy of a child who is born out of such a live-in relationship or arrangement. And the court has time and again has held that when a child is born out of a live-in relationship, then it will give rise to a presumption under Section 114 of the Indian Evidence Act that the child is legitimate, born out of a legitimate relationship, and also that the child will have right of inheriting property of his or her parents if any. Now let's proceed with the reasoning and decision of the court. So the court stated that while considering the legality of the live-in relationship, which is laid down in detail in various guide decisions of the Honorable Supreme Court and High Courts, the following were observations were made by the High Court. So the first being that the apex court, in a long line of decisions, has settled the law that where a boy and a girl, they are major and they're living together with their free will, then nobody, including their parents, has any authority to interfere with their living together. Secondly, the court observed that petitioners are at liberty to live together, and no person shall be permitted to interfere in their peaceful living, as right to life is a fundamental right which is enshrined under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, in which it is provided that no person shall be deprived of his right to life and personal liberty. And thirdly, it was observed by the court that in case any disturbance, or rather held by the court that in case of any disturbance which is caused to the petitioners or their peaceful living together, the petitioner shall approach the police and respondent number 2 with a copy of this court order, and upon such production, the police authorities or the concerned authority shall take immediate action to ensure protection is given to the petitioners. And fourthly, the court stated that private respondents were granted liberty, or they were given liberty to file recall application of this order if the documents which were brought on record, they would be found to be fabricated or forged, and hence this petition was allowed. Now, at the end of this note, you may find a list of abbreviations which we have used in the note, and you may refer to it for a clearer understanding. And to answer this question of law, it was held by the court that indeed it would amount to be an infringement of their right to life and personal liberty if there is an interference in their peaceful living together. So that's all we have for this case. Thank you for being with us.